And welcome back to Hen Solo, everybody. We're trying to redo the worst star in this level by far. Because let's be honest, all the other stars in this level, aside from the 100 coin one, pretty easy. Except for the chest one. Chest one is specifically placed just to piss you off. Or so I'm convinced. Oh, sorry. Had a bubble in my throat and I had to keep speaking. Okay. So, more in depth of sound. Or you know what? I think at the end of the last episode, I was talking about the differences between video game developing then and now. So, what I'm trying to get at is that, back in the day, I hate to sound like a broken record, but back in the day, when gaming was first, getting its sea legs, it really was a test of, how you could make an experience available to an audience. There's a lot of, topics and videos on YouTube on, gaming as, an interactive medium and why that is. But I want to sort of get into the broad topic of that, because I mean you can find guys that actually know what they're talking about instead of a guy that like me who's just speaking from a pure nostalgia and bias. But I think even with all that acknowledged, different viewpoints should be considered when you're talking about that, because the people who grew up playing these games, they're making games for you now, and you gotta wonder why the disconnect. Sometimes, or even like with companies like Nintendo, they still have some of the people who are original creators of masterpieces, and what they make nowadays, it's just not as good. And we all want a reason why, but we never stop to think, what are the circumstances that allow that to happen? When somebody comes up and says, I really want an interactive experience when I play a game. You say, okay, so if you want an interactive experience, there are many different ways to make that happen. Through gameplay, through story, through all different kinds of quirky, weird stuff that can happen in games. For example, the Wii with its motion controls. That was a big step for interactivity in video games. And having that be a benchmark for interactivity would inherently be wrong. Because to be interactive, I put it in air quotes, I feel that you need to have something that sets you apart. Something that makes it so that you say, I remember this experience, here's why. Okay? So, when you talk about games like this, okay? This was one of the first games that came out for, for the N64. And so people were still getting used to the controller. So what does Nintendo do? Alright? So this is one of the first games where you have a fully explorable 3D space. So instead of a D-pad, which they still do have on the controller, I have it right in front of me, they have an analog stick, which is the first example of an analog stick in a modern console. I say modern also in air quotes. Oh, okay. So in order to fully realize a 3D world, they need to adapt some technology in order to create a sense in the real world that you're navigating a 3D world. Okay, so D-pad, that's a purely two-dimensional mode of transport, I guess, is what I would call it. And when you have that mode of transport, and it's very well established, oh fuck, you sort of get used to it, and you don't really think, you know, how can I make this better? Okay. The same thing happened for the Wii. Okay, so people got used to 3D games, you know, double analog sticks and all that. That started with the advent of the Xbox and the PlayStation. I think the PlayStation was the first, the original PlayStation was the first console to have the double analog sticks. And then Xbox came along and popularized it with the 360 controller. Why am I going in this one? I guess this episode's going to be controller design or stuff like that, because I'm getting really passionate about this. So, as I was saying, this is all leading back to Mario 64, so bear with me. I'm making gigantic loops all around the center topic. Through the jet stream. Through the jet stream. What is that one? I can do the manta ray one. I think the jet stream one is the metal cap one, which I need to do that level next. Come on. No, it did it again. Okay, fine. Reset. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shit. Shit comes after 4, right? Okay. 1, 2. Sorry, I'm belaying the topic for a moment so I can focus. God damn it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Give me that last one. Give me the last one. Thank you. Oh god. Oh god, that's treacherous. Come on, come on. Okay. Woo! Alright, back to controllers. So with the advent of the Wii, it was a new avenue. Well, I wouldn't say it was new. There was experiments, obviously, but they weren't popularized, I would say. Oh wait, shit, I just said I couldn't do this. Why am I doing it? Exit course. I need to go to the metal cap course. Yeah, so with motion controls, people started to learn how to conform games to be able to be played, you know, with your body, which was something, you know, we take it for granted now, because, you know, it's everywhere, and even now, fucking VR is like the next new wave of crap that's coming out. I think he gives me a star, right? Yeah. So when people first explored real-world 3D space, it was almost like an augmented reality experience. You know, like when people think augmented reality, they think like, okay, I have like a camera and I see things. I put the camera over things in real life, and then virtual things pop up. That's not quite what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking more in terms of, you know, actual movement in the real world. You know, when I think I'll call it real world AR, which seems kind of redundant, but it makes sense in my head. Where am I going? Swimming beast and cavern. Oh, okay. I need to go to Nessie. Oh crap! I just lost my train of thought. Hold on, bear with me. Yeah, I was talking about the weeb. Yeah, okay. So after the Wii came out and it was, you know, massive success. Everybody loved it except for hardcore gamers, but you can never please hardcore gamers, I figured out. I mean, I once considered myself a hardcore gamer, but you motherfucking one-up. But I don't know, it's kind of taken on a different context nowadays. You know, hardcore gamers pretty much either people who just dedicate absurd amounts of time to a game, or people who do esports, which would be the extreme opposite of the spectrum of gamers. So you have on one end of the spectrum you have, you know, casual gamers like mobile phones, people who play like party games, stuff like that. And then on the opposite side of that spectrum, you have hardcore gamers, esports people or players. And Nintendo with the Wii attracted a lot of the casual gaming crowd. So it was seen as a good and a bad thing during game development at the time. I speak of at the time, it was like, what? Wii came out in 2007, I guess? I think? That was, holy shit, that was 10 years ago. Wow! I feel old. Okay. So when you have, you know, casual gamers flooding the market, you know, everybody and their mother, you know, was playing Wii Sports and stuff like that. You know, Wii Sports was the game, pretty much, to get non-gamers into gaming. And, you know, it was good. It's, you know, I think it kind of broke down barriers and also erected some as well. Would you fucking jump up, Mario? Jesus Christ. So when you have, you know, a mixing of audience, like the casual gamers and the hardcore gamers, I feel like I'm speaking in like Romeo and Juliet sort of terms. Oh, okay. You mix interests. You know, it was good that everybody was able to show everybody why they love games so much. And I think that was really important in the development of games, you know, becoming a popular medium in the 10s and onward. Because before that, you know, the average description of a gamer was, you know, neckbeard in his mom's basement, wasting time and money playing video games. Now, you know, people make a living off of it. It's crazy. So, on one hand, you have people that sort of herald the coming of a new gaming perception, because now you have the Wii making games accessible for everybody. But on the other hand, you reject part of your core audience with the acceptance of casual gamers, because when you accept casual gamers, you sort of have to hold their hand when you're making a game. So you got to give them like, okay, here are directions, here's what you're supposed to be doing, here's this, and this, and I fucked this up. Give me the platform. Ah, it's gone. Damn it. So when how am I gonna put this? You know what? I'll continue with this next time on Hen Solo, because I have more to say. So I'll see you guys then.